So again, I apologize for the fan. Air conditioning guy is coming in the morning, so but I'm still on a roll, so I'm going to keep on going. And a lot of people want to know more about the Gen X Pimp and Chronicles. The book is coming out, but that's a perfect focal point as to where I gathered the data that I have that has brought me to the understanding of women that I have in such detail. Because, you know, just listen to what I have discovered and come to your own conclusions, okay? And let's start with the fact that after I arrived into this inner city school, I was all jacked for it. I was ready. I was like, I couldn't wait. I'm like, bring it, you know, because I'm on a quest to become, you know, the ultimate badass at this point, because it's feeling so damn good. And so I want to challenge myself. I'm not the type of person that wants to say, you know, let's not and say we did. Fuck that shit. You're cheating yourself out of life. Don't say you did. You know? Don't say you fucking did. If you didn't, what are you saying about yourself? That's pathetic. Do you understand that all those little things, you know, when you lie about yourself to make yourself more interesting, in your subconscious mind, you're fully aware that you have to lie about yourself to make yourself more interesting. And how do you think that pans out? It causes illness, I'll tell you that much. It causes illness. I promise you. You know, and in our 20s, I mean, not even in our late teens, right after high school, I was blown away to see how many people just went back to their small town and started planning a wedding, you know, with Joe Schmo over there that, you know, still picks his nose. You know everything about that dude. To me, it's like, look, you have oceans and oceans and oceans of all kinds of sea life and hidden treasures and all kinds of stuff to discover. And you dip a little Dixie cup into the ocean and you go, oh, this is good enough for me. I'll just have this right here. That's really? Fuck that. You'll never look as good as you do right now. You'll never have a better excuse because you can fuck up in your 20s and get away with it. You will never have the opportunities that are going to be available to you in your 20s. And by the time you realize that, you'll already be in your 30s. Then you'll get resentful. Then somebody's going to have an affair, okay? And we start stirring the pot. You start laying demands because you want more. You want more. And you expect to get it out of somebody else, just like you did when you made this decision. You're like, you didn't have the balls to see what you were made of, to go out and taste the world. You decided to stick with what you knew, what was familiar, and now you're regretting it. Just like I thought you would. But I've been there along the way. I've seen what it could have been because I lived that and what it was for you. So then, you know, I was 10 years behind everybody else. Do the math. And, you know, what I learned all along the way, one of the things I learned all along the way was that friends would, you know, surround me to get into the places that I could get them into because I was VIP everywhere I went. And they resented me about it the whole entire time. Can you imagine? I actually had one girl, this is what they do. They want, there's somebody that they want to see there. They tell them, I'm going to be there and I want to see that person, so bring that person. And then when they show up at the club or whatever it is, they're like, hey, I'm like, hey, how you doing? And they're looking at me stupid because they think that I want to see them, I want to meet them. And then what I, you know, and I don't have any clue about any of this stuff, okay? Then that guy gets pissed off, starts confronting that chick, she's pissed at me, I don't even know what's going on. She's like, fuck you, she walks out the fucking building, out of the club, out of bounds. It was reggae night. And I catch my keys, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I go back to the bar, there's that guy. And that's the last thing I remember. Then I remember I'm over his shoulder. He's got my keys. He's telling the bouncer he's got me. I drank too much. No, I didn't. I can't. I'm over his shoulder. He puts me in my own car and brings me back to his house. So, right? I had no clue where I was. Turned out I was all the way in Irvine. But that's what these bitches do. And they hate me the whole way through. It's always all my fault. So you know what? Sooner or later, I've got to catch a freaking clue. Alright? And either play my cards better, or just, I don't know, go hide somewhere or whatever. So, you know, I had them work for me. When I became a techno dancer and I was with the lasers and all that, I was up on stage and I was on top of the world. I was running an experiment then, okay, with the DJ. And he and I thought a lot along the same lines. And he was also a DJ for a lot of strip clubs in Anaheim. But he liked, these girls were the Hollywood girls. Or the, some of them were even in my nursing classes. But these were a different kind of girl. And he had all kinds of game with the strippers, but he was very shy around just regular, like, college students and shit like that. And so we worked something out. It's kind of a long story. I don't have enough time to talk about it. Hold on. First of all, the way, this is actually this time of year, what happened was I went to this club with this girl who was a dancer, a laser dancer. These are techno dancers. These are not strippers. It's a regular club, nightclub, huge nightclub, huge. And it was an old amphitheater. It had balconies, okay, but the dance floor was where the chairs used to be. They were all taken out, so it was like, and the stage is where, you know, the stage would be, and that's where I was with 5 other girls. Only I didn't start off as one of the girls. I was dating one of the girls, okay? And it was around Halloween, and I'm like, you guys should do the Thriller dance. And they're like, how do you do this? So they brought me up on stage, and as soon as they brought me up on stage, I was like, this feels familiar, was the first thing I felt, and it shot me back to a vision, something that happened to me when I was 5 on a stage. And then after I did the dance and all this stuff, the girl I was with had to go to Paris for like a month. And she was like, look, I got an idea. She's like, what if you just took my place? Nobody would even know it's you. And so that's how that happened, okay? There's so much more. But I looked very familiar as well. I looked like another girl that was famous in LA. She was always on top of all the cabs, you know, the big billboards and everything, and people thought that I was her. And so I turned it up a notch, and I guess it's going to be number 2. So again, I apologize for the fan.